Good morning, it's Monday, May 18th, and you're watching World Watch News in 3. Prior to the coronavirus shutdowns, Delta Airlines had been America's most profitable airline. But now Delta says it has more pilots than it needs, too many, by 7,000, and that's about half its cockpit workforce. A company memo says it's closing its pilot base in Cincinnati and grounding all its biggest jets, the Boeing 777. Air France, meantime, is working to keep its grounded pilots sharp by putting them behind the controls of these simulators. Air France requires extra training for any pilot who has not carried out at least 5 takeoffs and landings in the last 3 months. And now, what airline passengers do remain are going to have to pass a test. At roughly a dozen airports starting this week, officials will now conduct temperature checks to screen out those with fever symptoms. Air traffic is lagging by more than 90%. Hurricane season isn't lagging, it's off to an early start. Arthur showed up 2 weeks early, and since 2015, and now for the 6th straight year, the Atlantic has cooked up at least one named storm prior to June 1st. Arthur arrives in the Atlantic just as Typhoon Vongfong winds down in the Pacific. This storm hit 5 coastal towns in the Philippines. It left behind flooding and damage to hundreds of homes. Now, this is not storm damage, this is on purpose, an impressive display of explosive art and science. Demolition experts in Germany took down these twin cooling towers last week. It seems as effortless as folding a lawn chair. But of course it's not. Watch as precisely placed and timed charges bring the structures down on themselves. One of these has not operated since 2011, the other taken offline just last year as Germany shuts down its nuclear industry. Now, despite concerns about fossil fuels and global warming, political activists have also opposed nuclear power as a substitute. Meanwhile, the Department of Energy is working on a project that could revolutionize the nuclear power industry in this country. Engineers, they're hard at work right now on the first 3D printed nuclear reactor core by 2023. Go ahead, have a look. The ink in this printer, by the way, is stainless steel. I'll take mine with an extra shot of espresso, but hold the rent. Starbucks is planning to reopen 90% of its 9,000 stores across the country, but the company says it needs a break from paying rent at all locations for about a year. Starbucks says landlords need to adapt to what it calls the new realities, namely a restaurant industry that's expecting a $225 billion hit to revenues over the next 3 months. For Starbucks, coronavirus shutdowns have cut earnings in half. Comparing this year with last, the company says it just doesn't have rent money. And so now, neither do owners of retail properties. This may look like a completely harmless house pet, but he's not. This is the Argentine black and white tegus, and he's made his way to Georgia. Now, he can get up to 4 feet long, but it's his appetite that's the real problem. A biologist says these lizards can eat pretty much whatever they want, and they're not even afraid to eat the eggs of American alligators. This invasive species is destroying Georgia's native wildlife and upsetting the balance of the ecosystem. They multiply quickly and don't have a lot of predators, except for wildlife officials who are working to eradicate them before they take over. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm the Big Bash. We'll see you tomorrow.